The True Story of a Trip West by Lori LaLore. Faithful old Crump pulled our wagon across the plains to the peaks we named Mount Misery and Too High. "Where's California?" Charlie asked. "Far away," Ma replied. Old Crump plodded on, following the place where the sun went down each night. When we stopped to camp, we sang songs and danced. Days passed. Our flour and salt pork dwindled. No one had much use for the fiddle music. "Where's California?" Charlie asked. Ma sighed. "Keep moving," she said. When we reached the top of a divide, Pa stopped and looked down. "There it is," he said. "Death Valley. And oh, what a desolate place. Wind-beaten, treeless hills, and everywhere awful silence." That night, cold wind blew from the north. We burned our wagons to make a fire to keep warm. Every treasure belonging from home gone. The sun made us squint. Rocks bit through what was left of our shoes. Ma crumbled bits of sugar for us to hold in our mouths so we wouldn't think so much about our thirst or empty stomachs. "Can't go any farther," Charlie cried. Little Martha didn't say anything. When the journey had begun, she scampered lively as a quail. Now she was slower than a jopoke. Ma took 2 strong hickory shirts still left and turned them inside out. She sewed each shirt together to make 2 pockets for Martha and Charlie to ride old Crump, one on either side. Melissa and I climbed on old Crump's broad back and held on with a strap. "Get along, old Crump," Pa cried, and the faithful ox moved forward slow and steady, never a stumble or a fall. After a few miles, the other oxen bucked and kicked. Their riders screamed and pitched headlong into the sand. Melissa and I jumped off old Crump. Ma grabbed the little ones just in case old Crump got frisky too. He didn't. He flicked his tail, stomped his hoof, and looked at us with his big, gentle eyes. On and on we rode, even though there was nothing but a bunch of rattling dried grass for old Crump to eat. Overhead, rainless clouds looked like grazing herds of white oxen. "Water!" somebody cried. We rushed toward that shining lake as fast as we could, but when we arrived, all we found was a shallow pool of brine, nothing but a mirage. Canteens empty, no water, no grass, no fuel. Some spoke of killing oxen for food. "Don't touch old Crump," Pa warned. "We're hungry," the men replied. "Who will carry the children?" Pa asked. "You?" The men didn't answer. They turned away, ashamed. Even so, Melissa and I kept watch all night to make sure old Crump stayed safe. "Get along, old Crump," Pa said the next day. The faithful ox moved forward, slow and steady, never a stumble or a fall. At last we reached the end of the sandy wasteland. "Goodbye, Death Valley," Ma whispered. We climbed mountains again, and the air filled with spicy juniper and pine. We spied a roof in the valley below. Another mirage? No. "California!" Charlie cried. When we reached the house, a woman came outside. She looked at us, ragged and thin atop old Crump. "Mucho pobre," she said, and shook her head. From her pockets, she gave us each an orange. I held the cool, sweet orange to my cheek and rolled it against my closed eyes. For once, the sun's glare seemed to disappear. That night, we ate a feast of tortillas, beans, milk, and cheese. The next day, we traveled to our new home beside the ocean. Pa kept his word. He never sold old Crump or let anyone harm him. Now, fat and sleek, the faithful ox grazes with our cattle in the San Juan Valley. Old Crump stomps his foot. When we pat him, he looks at us with big, gentle eyes. I know he remembers our long journey and how he carried us slow and steady, never a stumble or a fall. That was a tough trip they made, all the way across the desert. And that good old ox saved them. So we're going to make an ox headband today. I cut out some pieces for you. It's pretty simple. All you need are the pieces, and I'll put a couple googly eyes in for you. Use big ones for him because he's got big, gentle eyes. And some tape and some glue and a crayon. You should be set to go. So all you need to do is put his hair, his ears, kind of flop down like that. I like to use tape just because it's quick and easy. Just tape it on like that. Okay. And you can also, just to secure it, put a double sticky, or if you have sticky tape or glue, you can use whatever to make his ear stay down a little. There we go. All right, and then we're going to take these two pieces and put them behind like that. And that's going to be the headband part. That part goes around your head. So we'll put it like we want it. And then flip it over and tape it on there. Just like that. And then once you've done that, you can size it to your head to make sure it fits. And then you tape this part to however big your head is. Okay? Next thing we'll do is put his eyes on. Put one here. Put one right there. And then, to make him look like an ox, we'll go ahead and put a nostril down at the bottom. Kind of like that. And there you go. Got an ox, an ox headband. Just what everyone needs.